You're seeing me?
Yeah, man, I'm seeing you. Welcome to my
All
live.
right.
You are live
All
with
right.
Dara. Well,
All
God.
right. Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I was just telling them
Right.
that I reached out to you yesterday. I had to do a
Right.
little name dropping, but thank goodness
Yes.
for that name dropping. You decided to come on. I really appreciate it. But I think they
Yes.
learned so much from you. And I mean, I was just listening to your story, the one that you did with the Observer, and some of the little nuggets that you share on your IG page. First of all, before we go into anything, tell me about Budget Auntie. Why this name Budget Auntie?
Well, I would want to say that I'm a seasoned chartered accountant on the island. I started working as a hard trainee, actually,
Me
and
too.
worked, yes, and worked through the different layers of accounting and reached to posts like chief financial officer. So I would think then that I really have a depth of knowledge that I could share and help persons. So when I thought about it, well, persons came to me. People, I've been sharing over last year, especially during the pandemic, as decorating my house, and I was sharing a lot of tidbits before and after how people could save money in decorating and stuff. And always drop in little nuggets, and then persons just come to me and say, listen, you have to help people, and you should, really try and find a way to. So I was toying with the idea and a name, and I was kind of thinking the rich auntie. So then I just kind of put a twist on it and said the budget auntie. Somebody who, young people can look up to for advice, because not only have I worked through, as hard trainee and worked through different layers of accounting, I also had my children as teenagers. As a
Oh, you were a teenage
teenage
mom.
pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as a teenage mom. So it's really a multiplicity of dimensions to this auntie. And so I really wanted it to be broad and more than accounting, because I'm really more than accounting. Frankly, I have so many different talents. And so I wanted something that encompassed budgeting, accounting, and just everything. And so I saw it as an auntie kind of thing.
And you know what? You've touched on so many issues that people can resonate with. A teenage
Yeah,
mom, a hard trainee. So them know, so you start from the bottom and you work your way go right up. It's not
right.
somebody will just get a gold spoon in their mouth and reach up at the top.
Not at all. Not at all. Not
So
at
let me
all.
tell you my story before you tell them your story. So for years, I've been
Mm-hmm.
paying rent, right? And
Right.
I wanted to own my house. And I'm like, Lord of mercy. When I look at the drawer full of receipt, rent receipt, and I'm like, can you imagine if all of this money was going into mortgage or something like that? And then what I did, I saw this house that I really liked, and I went and I paid without doing a budget. I went and I made a deposit on it, hoping that I would find the money to, start the process and everything like that. Never work out. The seller, she was generous. She said, all right, it was 3 months and it went to 6 months. I ended up losing about half of the deposit that I put into the
Wow.
house. Not doing the proper budgeting, not planning all the things. So that was a big wake up call to me. And then I wanted Kingston and St. Andrew. I wanted uptown house. You understand? Uptown house with downtown budget. And I paid for it. So I want to start. So I've asked her to send me some nuggets that we can talk about. And I want to start off with this one. And then you can go into your story. Know where you are in the life cycle and live there. Let's start there and you tell us your story.
All right. So I want to say, though, that millions of people struggle daily about this topic of managing money. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
understand that millions. So it is good that we're here on a Saturday evening in the lockdown talking about that, because we are learning and we are growing for each other. So I want us to see this conversation, not me telling you, but just us coming together and learning and growing, because I also have things to learn, right? So I also want persons to understand, before we go deep in the conversation, that you don't have to live an undesirable life in order to save. So we don't want to deny ourselves the good things like getting your nails done and getting your hair done because we don't want to look pop down, right,
True.
while doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, we must observe that we are in a life cycle. You have the millennials, 18 to 35, where they are versus where I may be, although I behave like I'm a millennial sometimes.
Don't worry,
And so
Millennial.
it's different. Right. So it's really different stages. And so you have to accept and understand where you are. So I was on the Jamaica Observer webinar on Wednesday, and the topic was Journey to Home Ownership. It was an article that was published in last Sunday's Observer, so it is online, so persons on the live can go and read it. But what it spoke about is me at 25, really having two children, teenage pregnancy, 18 and 20 or 18 and 19, thereabout, and making a decision at the time at 25 because my boss heard that I was looking a car to buy and approached me and spoke to me about an appreciating asset such as a house versus a depreciating asset such as a car. And at the time, I was traveling to and fro from St. Thomas to work in Kingston. It was my first job in Kingston. And so he spoke to me about that, and I had to make the decision to own a house. So at 25, I owned a house at Greater Portmore. Never lived there. I rented the house because soon after I got the keys, I moved my children over to Kingston, and I really didn't want to shock them to city life, with taking bus from Portmore. At the time, there was no causeway and thing, and I didn't want to shock them too much. So I decided to rent a house in Kingston, although the rent was more than the mortgage, so that we could provide some sort of a stability for myself because I was studying, and for them who they were also at primary school getting ready for high school. And so I wanted us all to be together and so we could grow. So I'm saying that to say that you don't have to start in Kingston 6 area with your house, because that house in Portmore is what helped me. I was able to sell it and buy years after, never lived there, and I was able to sell it, and that was my deposit for a house in a middle income neighborhood at Long Mountain at that point in time. And then at some point again, when the children were now out of university and it was an empty nest, I decided then that I could also sell and move on to Kingston 6. So it took me some time. So yeah, and I was driving modest car. During those transition, I became a chartered accountant. I became middle management. I became senior management. And every single promotion I got, I was creaming off the differential and I was saving. So when time came and was saving. So it's like you can decide that I am a clerk now, but you could move to a senior clerk, and it doesn't mean that you have to move your lifestyle. You don't have to move it immediately. Gradually, we do move because we are humans. We want the finer things. But how about living at a pace for a year before you actually move? You are doing without this promotional money that you get. So how about living on the past salary and just cream that off? That's what I've been doing for a very long time, and it has paid off for me. So it's just know where you are and know that you don't have to buy the $40 million house that are going up in Kingston 6. You can buy it somewhere else. And I also want to say that owning house now is not really, it's no different from owning house then. Maybe it is even easier now with the NHT contribution going up. Of course, with the NHT contribution going up so much and access to information. Look, I didn't have anybody to sit and guide me like we're in this forum now. The internet, there's so many things that we have on our fingertips to make decision. There's so many side hustles that we could tap into at this point in time. So I am saying it is not harder now than it was then. Is a mindset.
Why? You mentioned something. When you just start workout, the thing is home, a house versus a car. most persons going to go for the car because, you know, with a car, I've arrived. I'm driving. You see what I say?
Yes. So back in the day with the car, I will also say at that time there was no used car market. Remember, I was traveling from St. Thomas coming over to work, and car was a big profile. It was a big profile. But I had to choose. I had to choose. And eventually I got a little tired to Tercel after that and worked my way up. But I'm saying the big car will come. You have to scale your things and move. There was a point in time when I was a chief accountant when I knew I could afford to buy a BMW, but I also checked out the cost of service and I realized that the parts were massive. And I backed out of that and went and bought a Honda Accord. I remember that clearly. So you can't keep up with the Jones, You have to know your pocket and don't bother keep up with them. We can gradually build wealth and get to an acceptable place.
Gradually. You know, it's a good thing you mentioned that thing. I was talking to you when we were talking about the live. And guys, let me tell you, see the BMW thing that she's talking about? I know a lot of you, when you think say you own this BMW, I have arrived. Listen, man, me get my promotion and me decide say, all right, my good faithful Honda CRV that for years was carrying me around and never give me no problem at all. Chris see me. But decide, time to sell it. Sell it and buy the BMW. And I tell you, I was driving that BMW for 2 years. Nice car, nice fancy car. And when you drive it, it's like it's like, ooh, she's in a BMW. But you see when it's time to service the BMW there, you see when you pray so nothing happened to the BMW. One day I was driving and the tire burst. And when I went to get one of the run flat tires, I hear say $55,000 for one tire.
For the time.
For the tire. So me sell the BMW.
I must commend you. I must commend you for that big time. When you told me that, I couldn't believe that because a lot of people wouldn't want to sell. There was a point in time, when I was driving a Honda Accord for a company in a senior position and I was made redundant. Right. So I was made redundant, although I kept the car that I was driving for, and it was a crisp car, like maybe months. And I had to give back the car after a month and buy a car. And I had enough money to buy a decent car. And I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer at the time. And I remember the first day I drove out that car, the windows were up because I felt a little way. I was moving from a Honda Accord down to a Lancer. And guess what? By the end of the day, believe me, it lasted a few hours, that feeling. By the end of the day, I wiped down my window and said, this is my business. I could have bought a better car, but guess what? I had planned to give that car to my children, when I was back into a permanent space. So I had my plans. I don't have to walk and tell everybody my plan. So I kept the Lancer, and then I got a job, and then I give the car to my children who were not at the university. I'm tired to pick them up. So I'm saying, your business. Nobody else knows your business. And so you have to work with what works for you.
Okay, so let's go back to the house issue now, because a lot of young persons leaving university who just start working, their goal is to own a home. What advice would you give to them as they start the process of home ownership?
Right. So first of all, I would say start small. You have to start small. And as I said, you can continue to build as you go along because the price of houses, you see, just moving rapidly. So there's always appreciation in our market as it relates to real estate. So I will say buy small. You need to check out the benefits from your NHT. You need to sit down and speak to a finance person. You need to speak to your lawyer to see all of the costs that are involved. Your example was that it's is not only your deposit, but you have to think about the taxes that you're going to pay, the stamp duty and things like that, and your legal fees. So you have to tabulate. Just sit down with somebody to tabulate all of that so that you understand what deposit you're going to put together for the property. Then you have to pull up your budget because you have to decide how you're going to save, to put the deposit together. I know that it is difficult for young people, but I would say start very small. Within 5-6 years, you can really, your property value will move. I'm telling you that.
So do you think they should stay, like live with their parents and go and save the money to buy the house? Because some of them move out. Some people move out and go spend, like, pay some $100,000 rent when that can pay a mortgage or something like that. I mean, just to be free out of the parents' house.
But why not? I mean, why not? If you can live at your parents and they have no issue with it, why not? Just contribute some bills and stay put. Or I know back in the day, people used to share, like, two ladies coming together and share rental. I don't know if that happens so much anymore, but we could go back to those sort of an arrangement so that, we helping out each other, splitting the bills, splitting the utilities and the rent and saving towards the home ownership.
Inspiration is saying key thing is to get a pre-approval letter to see how much you can afford. This is super helpful when looking for a property. Yeah.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right.
but before you reach to the pre-approval, you also need to look at your budget. What are my income? What are my expenditure? And yes, the bank will help you to see, whether or not you'll qualify for the loan. But you also have to put all of your expenses together and also how you're gonna come up with the deposit, because that is also important.
Anointed Cooper, you're asking about living overseas and benefiting from NHT. Yes, you can, as Camille said.
Yeah.
You just have to continue contributing to the NHT. And I mean,
Right.
you started, because some persons started contributing to NHT and then they move overseas and they stop. If you stop, it will be more difficult for you to get the NHT benefits, right?
No, I think you should be contributing as self-employed, 70,000, I believe, per year. So you should continue to contribute on an annual basis so that you can still tap into your benefit.
Okay, so let's talk about the car now. So the thing is, you want to buy a car, but you don't want to buy the Honda Fit or the little Note. Or one of them little car there. You want boom boom, you want an SUV or a BMW or something like that. When you say to somebody like that now, the person who's trying to own the first car.
Yes, and so again, I believe in modesty, right? So I would also say you should start with a modest car. But let us talk a little bit about the budget, because that is going to determine what you can really afford. So we talk about budget, and what is the budget? It's really a compilation of your income and expenditure broken down month by month. And what are the inflows? So the inflows would be your salary. If you're an entrepreneur, your inflow from that, your side hustle, money that you get from the guy. But I mean, no, you like them things that Dara. Come on your page and see what you're up to over this side. So you have to include that, but I would say don't rely on that too much. And also any inflow you're getting from investment, because if you get investment flow, whether you have stocks or shares, but we're not going to go into those fancy stocks and shares. You can bring me back and we can talk about that at some point in time. We want to stick to the basic tonight, right? That's what Dara said, basic, right? So you have to look at all of your income stream, and then you look at your expenses, your rent. You must pay yourself. You should save 20%. So you should take out your 20%.
No matter what.
Save. No matter what. And it's 20% of your gross. You earn that and you need to pay yourself and put that aside. And then, of course, you have to pay your rent or your mortgage. That is a must. And your utilities, the children's expenses, you could put aside money for any sinking fund. We can talk a little bit about that, or an emergency fund. And then
Hold
you
on, what
can
is
look
a
to see,
sinking fund?
right? So I'm gonna get back to that. So then when you put everything together along with your car payment, you will determine what you really can afford. If it is a underfit, or you're going to move up to Accord, or you're going to move up to SUV. But I really believe that the social media pressure and the profile, we have to try and manage that, because it's going to push us into your future. It's going to it's going to push you to live in your future. Right? So you're living above your means and pushing yourself ahead of yourself. And we shouldn't do that. That's not how we build wealth. You understand? So we shouldn't do that. So, all right. So you ask about sinking fund and emergency fund. So ideally, for emergency fund, we should have about 6 to 9 months of your expenses parked. What if you lose your job? So you can take care of things until, you find back your rhythm. And for sinking fund, you can have several sinking funds. And one such is your Christmas fund, because we know that Christmas we spend a little bit more. Your insurance, your car insurance could be a Christmas fund. So for instance, your car insurance is due September. You don't wait until September to pay this 50,000. You should be building up from January to September, 9 months. So you have a little sinking fund for that.
Right.
It's okay to have several savings accounts, If you have one at BNS, get one at NCB, get one at Sagicor, get one at JNN, and then you're online and you transfer a little money to these accounts. You would be surprised to see how it helps you. So you don't have it in your main account with your debit card, right? So those are sinking funds that you can have that can help you along the way.
I love that one. I love that,
Right.
because so
Right.
your main account, that's the one where you don't really touch. You don't have the debit card fee, so you decide to go road and draw money from it. That's like the
No,
saving.
right. So no. So the sinking fund, you shouldn't have readily access walking around with you. You just put them away in like an account. So for instance, you're salaried and your pay goes to BNS. Then you could transfer from your BNS to these other small accounts and just park them, and you walk around with your BNS card. Just saying. So you have your little fund, because these expenses are crucial and they are coming up.
I like that one. I like that one,
Right?
because normally I wait until September when the insurance due to
Yes,
take
I
out the
do.
money. But you're
Yes.
right. If you save up to September, when you reach September, it won't look so bad.
It won't look so bad. Believe me. Because you know that it is coming. You know that the registration coming. You know that the insurance coming. You know that Christmas we splurge a little and that is okay. Or we start do little fix up in the kitchen and buy window treatment and painting, and you're painting and stuff. So put those monies aside. If you want to put them in an envelope, you put them in an envelope. But I don't want to encourage your envelope, because we need to get online and get more digitized. You see what happened since the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say have some small accounts. The bank won't stop you from opening more than one account, and you just transfer between these accounts. Just like that.
What do you think about partner?
Partner? Well, I
You
don't
know,
have
when I
any.
just started working, a partner me use and buy my first bed.
Well, that's fine. No, I don't have any problem with partner at all. If people come together that and you throw a partner, that's fine. It's a good form of savings, and it really pushes you to put some money aside too. That's also good. You could also throw a partner to get a draw to pay for the insurance. That is a sinking fund.
Right. You're right.
Mhm.
You're so
Right.
right. All right, I want
Right.
to go back to something you touched, because it's, although we joke about it and although you hear me say, "Ray," it's an important point. So,
Hmm.
my girl, you get the money. You have a little guy who will take care of you, and him give you like, he has a constant, you have a constant inflow of, let's say, $2,000 every week. Don't use the $2,000 for hair and nails. Squeeze for something and save it, right?
Of course. Absolutely. Of course, absolutely. So I don't know if you can work out if you can work out something with him to have a fixed amount, then it would be better. At least you could budget. But I don't know how the roads stay nowadays with that.
But yeah, we don't know how the roads stay. Auntie, we don't know the roads stay right now. But we are
Right.
sending the advice out there. I mean, if you have those money coming in, don't just take it and spend it. That can be money that you can save and that can come in useful on a rainy day.
Uh,
All right, hold on. Let me go
Right.
to some comments. I put on my glasses now to say. I remember back in the days, Workers Bank did a partner saving. I loved it. And Nancy Cooper said, I was in a partner back in high school and I went through a lot to get my money. So, of course, you have to, when you're doing it, you just have to know
You have
who
to
to get
wait.
involved, right?
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I have to
Yeah.
run, please. Okay, all right. So, let's get back to the question now. You mentioned something else that is also important, raise promotion. So, you never used to make the money here. You used to make $100. You get the little promotion and you start make 130. And instead of you save the
The
$30,
30.
you decide say, yeah, let me go buy some clothes or some shoes or something, something, something. Tell us what's the best thing to do with something like that.
Yeah, so I think I learned that early in my accounting studies that, as humans, I don't remember what they call it. Robert Edley, I know you're on this call if you can maybe catch me up. But what they're pretty much saying is that your taste changes over time. And nothing is wrong with that. So I am not gonna be working as a clerk and then I become a chief financial officer. And 90% of us, we're gonna change our lifestyle because you want to feel and look the part. And it is no issue whatsoever. But what I did was to take that a little further and said, well, if I move in my career, I don't have to move my lifestyle immediately. So I lag behind and continue to live in that space. Yeah, yeah, understand. So I'm saying if you get an additional 30,000, I am saying don't start splurge out all of the 30,000. You were doing, no matter how tight things were, you were doing without it. So I'm
Yes.
saying, why not add a little 10,000 if you want in the budget and just stack away 20,000. Maybe after a year, you have to start stacking away 10, but don't start using the 30,000 immediately.
Right. And it comes
Can I
to,
just turn off a light? Can I just turn off a light? I
yeah,
have
man,
my light
sure,
because
sure.
me the wall look. Let me just turn off the light and come back.
You take your time, Auntie. You just take your time. Miss Say, I just met her yesterday. I'm the spirit taker. You're my auntie. You're my budget auntie. We're gonna make some money this year because of you. I hope you're taking note, guys. I really hope you're taking
Right,
note.
right. I just seen my website. Right. So
Yes,
what
man.
yeah, so what I also want to say, so don't take the money and then start pay on the carnival costume. I want to touch on that
You please
because
do.
if you, yeah, so I'm just saying, really and truly, I want to touch on the carnival costume that I hear that people financing and the Dream Weekend. Me now, mash up Dream Weekend business, but me just as say, if you have to take loans to finance these ventures, you cannot afford it. If you have to take loan, you can have your sinking fund though for those ventures. So you could say,
Where's the hearting? I need to send some love for this one. Say
yeah,
it
because
again. Give
let
me
me tell you something
love.
now.
The people
Right.
know
So let
this.
me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wear nails and I don't wear acrylic. Right? And that's fine. I just polish my nail and then I clean them off when I feel like, right? But it's okay if you love carnival. I go to the carnival fete them, but I don't, I don't play mask, right? So it's okay if you love your carnival, but you shouldn't be borrowing no money for that. You shouldn't be borrowing money for Dream Weekend. You should have a sinking fund April to April and you access that fund and you buy a costume. If you can't do that, you are living in the future. You are mashing up your life. Right? So I hear people taking carnival costume and paying these expensive interests with same day loan. We must do better than that.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for touching on that one. So
Yeah,
with that said, let's go to tip number one. Have
right.
a budget. And when you say a budget, tell us exactly what you mean and for what.
Yeah, so what we're saying, have a budget. I mean, just showing all of your income stream and all of your expense stream. Let's say if you think it, you must ink it. Don't have it memorized in your head. Get a spreadsheet, go online, Excel, and tabulate it. It is psychological. When you look at your month by month expense and your income, sometimes it's a revelation. So it really hit you so hard, you realize that you need to look at other stream of income, like some side hustle.
I want to touch
Learn
on that. I want to touch on
right.
that. So,
Yeah, so sometimes it is a fact that the budget might be tight, but we have to do something about it. So it's either we're gonna increase their income streams, or we're going to look at ways to cut some of the expenses in the budget. So let us talk about the revenue side first. How we can increase that, right?
Okay.
So we might be all over the place, but I know they're following. They get what I'm saying, right? So let us talk about the revenue, the inflows. We're going to use accounting term to leave in this conversation. Let us talk about the inflows from salaries. Yeah, hardly can do anything about that, because inflation is 8.3%, and companies not paying more than 4 and 5%. I can tell you that. So we're looking at those, but what other ways can we get some inflows? Can we learn to bake cake? Look at Carlene, dancehall queen Carlene and Miss Donna.
Yes.
And our pudding, them are going with a thing in the pandemic and they're making money. If you have green thumbs, you can plant and sell the plants. I mean, so those are income that you can get going in. My daughter is on the call, I think. Yes, I saw her. I hope she's still there. Her husband works with Walmart and he's so busy. But he was telling me the other day that he hired a lady in Jamaica as a personal assistant. Now, he lives in New Jersey and he has a personal assistant. So I said, how does that work?
Yeah.
And he said he give her a screenshot of his calendar on every Monday morning. She is calling persons, making his appointments, reconfirming his appointment. His dad is having his birthday here, January. She's doing all of the organization on the ground here in Jamaica. And he pays her US dollar and she lives in Jamaica. I'm saying the internet and social media has opened up. There's a plethora of things that we can do to earn extra cash. So, just to touch on the inflows. But as it relates to the outflows, just looking at our bills, we can look at the bills, Zara, maybe one by one. We could look at packing lunch. You were telling me that most times you take lunch to work.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody on this call could give us an idea of what you spend on lunch, because I don't buy lunch.
Money. They spend a lot of
Like
money.
how much?
And the thing
Like
about
how
it
much?
is that the food are really hot. So you buy
But like how much you pay for lunch? Like how much you pay for
you
lunch?
have to ask them because I carry my lunch.
I want somebody. Look what them saying. I want to have an idea what's the cost of lunch daily.
Tell me what you spend for lunch. Give me an idea of somebody who
I
buy
want
lunch.
an idea, and then some of them also buy porridge in the morning and fried dumpling and them stuff there.
Wait, let's see where I go. $1,000
$1,000.
$1,000 on I see you, Kimmy. $1,000. Somebody said $650. So we're seeing between $650 and $1,000 for lunch.
All right, so per day. All right, let's put it at 700. Let's put it at 700.
No,
I put that
the average right here is 1,000 because most persons saying 1,000.
Yeah, right. So yeah, there's a little place that I go and buy salad. Sometimes I work from home, but even when I wasn't working from home, I still take my lunch to work. And my employer provide lunch, but I still take my lunch because I prefer healthier stuff. And there's a little
So hold on now. So lunch is 1,000 and then breakfast is 650. So can you imagine you spending $1,500 a day on lunch and breakfast?
All right, but we could just say, all right, so let us put it at $1,000 on average. That is $5,000 a week, if it's a 5-day week, that is 20,000. I'm sure you could use $20,000 in the supermarket and get so much more.
Wholesale.
Or wholesale. Not to mention the wholesale or downtown. You could use that 20,000 and get so much more. And, you guarantee to eat better. You're not eating the refried oil with the fried chicken and the curry gravy. I mean, you can get some green banana and callaloo and what's not. And you're fine. You can have your sandwich in the morning. I bought some sandwich and some porridge in the mornings and and pack your lunch, buy a lunch bag. I see some nice little lunch bag at Mega Mart and take your lunch to work. So, those are small ways, but it adds up, just saying. Another thing that I think we can do is also unsubscribe. Unsubscribe to your gym membership. You pay for the gym and you never go. No, but you pay for the gym and you don't go. You can go on the hill and run, and you can go on the hill and run. I went running this morning with my running club. It is 5,000, 3,000 for the year. I pay 3,000 for the year, and every Saturday morning I pay $300 for the security. So we have security in the morning, and then you can do that, and then you can also do a boot camp if you want to get some muscles in. You can do some boot camp as well. So I'm just saying, unsubscribe from those things. You can also unsubscribe from your Netflix. I think that's a video you picked up. Because I am saying, yes, it is 1,300 per month. Call me cheap, but I call it frugal. My daughter was here at Christmas and she said, maybe you're the only person I know with one person on your Netflix account. Come on, mine. So I'm on our Netflix account. And how many of you have landlines still in your house? I don't know, because everybody's on their cell phone. I would hope that we do. I would hope that we don't have that going. And we just need to check around too, So these are little things, small, but it adds up.
So let's go back to the Netflix thing, because that one, when I see the big unsubscribe, I was like, huh? And then when I listened, I was like, so you have a point. So if you have like a group of friends, you could all come together, pay the membership, and just share one thing, right?
Yes, or one person can. It's 1,300. I don't know why you have to pay your friend, but I mean, it depends if you want to share that. But what I'm saying, I understand that 4 persons can be on the account. Right? 4 persons. Call your people of foreign and see whose Netflix you can get on and just get on that too. And, I was saying my 1,300 per month is like 15,000 for the year. And normally I like to plant and I love to pot. So I am out every day. Well, not every day, but if I go to the plant shop, I pick up plants and I will buy them and repot them. And I give them away. I actually give them away, like this here now. I'm going to cut it today. And I'm just plant it maybe tomorrow. It's so easy.
And it look nice up here, sir?
Yeah.
Right.
And you plant. So you could sell it, right. So I'm saying I could use my 1,300 and buy a plant every month and repot them, give them away. I could give them as Christmas gift. Or, so it might seem like a little bit, but the 1,300 could wash my car, but, it's a wash car money that. So I'm just saying everything adds up and it is not, yes, you must be frugal and, we shouldn't be extreme, but it's also trying to improve, the thing. The other thing maybe we can touch at Dara is debt.
All right, hold on.
And the credit card.
Go to debt. All of saying, Dara, Auntie, everybody Auntie knowing that Auntie needs to speak about putting away for pension and life insurance. Important too.
Yes. Right. Well, all right. Yes, let me touch on the pension. So pension is calculated before your income tax. So it is tax free. So if you earn $100,000 per month and you pay 10% pension for simplicity. It's 100 minus the 10,000, which is the 10%, to give you 90,000. So income tax is only calculated on the 90,000, right? Just for simplicity. So you ought to really be maximizing on your pension. Most companies would say 5% is voluntary. Well, 5% is mandatory and another 5 is voluntary to make it 10%. But I would say always push for the 10%, because what it is that you're also, the more you contribute to pension is the less income tax you pay. You're cutting down on the component of the income tax because the pension is tax deductible. It comes out before the tax. So maximize on the 10%, and then most companies will match you. So why not maximize and put that away? Right? So good question and good call out.
All right. So
right?
before you go to the next one that I hope you remember what it is. I don't want to miss this because this is something I want to do. Is the online, the personal assistant thing. Do you know how persons can start that? Because that's the live I wanted to do this week, but it fell through in terms of earning online. Because we online every day, all day, and I don't know that we can earn from it. Do you know? Or we need to do our research?
Yes, I could ask him the name of the company, because he told me that there is a company in Jamaica, or there was a company in Jamaica who was offering this service. So he found a lady via the principal of that former company. But this might be a business venture where a few of us could come together and form a company to say we offer admin services.
I am
Right.
here. I will be one of your first employee, or I will be one of your waiting there. Business
Director.
partners. You see what I'm
Right, right. So I know it's something like that.
My son just joined. Hi, Kai. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening right now. Let's make some money this year, Kai. Take a notepad.
Kai, yeah, because I want to tell Kai that the millennials are not saving. I was reading something last week, and it said the millennials. They said the millennials are living above their means, and they're in the negative 3% negative, and we have to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, so we're not saving the 20% away. Right. I really like the question about pension. What else now?
So the broke. You were mentioning something else before. You were going on to something else, and then
all right. I was talking about debt.
Yes.
Debt. So if we have debt, I mean, debt is a way of life. We borrow money to buy the house, borrow money to buy the car. So debt is a way of life. I wouldn't say no debt, but I am not into the same day loan. The interest is exorbitant, and we should really try to minimize debt, or it can really spiral out of control. But if spiral out of control, we have to arrest it, right? And how are we going to arrest it? We have to face up and fess up. You know what I'm saying? You must fess up. We have to face our fears. So when the envelope come, the credit card envelope come, don't put it down. We need to take it and open it, right? We have to take it and open it and find out how much we owe. I don't want us to, the banks want us to hide those envelopes. They don't want us to own them, because the more you run away from them and don't pay them is the more interest they get. And then they turn around and pity you with minimum payments. Don't fall in those traps. So fess up and face up. If we spiral at some point in time, I had a credit card long ago that went overboard. But you can always, I want you to understand that you can always go to the lending company. You can go to the bank and negotiate with them. Say, all of these interests that you charge me, ma'am, I have demonstrated for the last 2-3 months that I am willing to pay, because I am facing and owning my debt situation. So what can you do for me? Can you give me a reprieve in all of these interests. If you
That
don't ask, you
happened?
don't
Did
get.
something happen?
It can happen. It can happen. It happen. And you put it in writing and say, these are the difficulty. Me add some difficulty. The pitney them this and that. And this is what I am putting forward, right? The bank is making close to 50% interest, Why they can't discount it by 15 and 20? You have to ask, right?
Definitely, as a
So
consumer, you have to just demand now.
right, right. I wouldn't say demand, but you must
Okay.
know, they must know, say you know, say these things do happen. The man up the hill, up so, them asking for it and them getting it. Why can't we? So you have to speak to the board, to the lender. You have to speak to the lender, but one thing you have to do is to demonstrate first that you have a willingness to pay. So you're going to show them. So debt spiral out of control, you can negotiate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just those little things we have to think about when we look at really reducing our expenses, because if debt is in those lines that we're tabulating, is less money for us to spend on our expenses, not true?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to also control those things in order to really keep our expenses at a minimum. The other thing I want to touch on is that it's okay. I mean, no, you're gonna love this, Dara. It's okay to wear your clothes and wear them over and over is
Me wear
yours.
my own. Yes. Me wear
And
my
if you
own.
want to post them, you post them.
Yes. I'm posting a
We
billion
are
times.
not. Yes, we the name Kardashians. They are global influencers. Love their business acumen. But guess what happened? They get paid to wear those clothes. They are paid. They don't buy them. So we don't have to keep up with them. We are going to wear what we have and we wear them over and over with grace and look good. So we don't have to. So in the budget, you will have a line for clothing. Yes, and if you don't use it this month, you can use it next month. But you can't just get up every month and buy an outfit.
Oh.
So you understand? Just a buy outfit. What is your budget, Dara? Did you plan to spend 10,000 per month? Why are you spending 20? You can spend 20 next month if you didn't use it this month. That kind of a thing. So we also must put the clothing costs in the budget as well.
Let me ask you this. I mean, I'm learning so much because I don't
Right.
just spend. I just spend. I just know some now pass a certain amount, but
Yeah.
maybe if I had my budget, I could save a lot more. And then you're
Right.
saying no, if you have a monthly budget, right? And
Yeah.
if you buy something that's outside of the budget, you make a note of it in your expenditure so you can like follow through month to month on how much you spend and what you can cut back on, etc.
Absolutely. And as I said, it's psychological. When you really see line by line what you're spending and what, it's gonna push you to do some juggling and say, boy, may I spend too much money here, may I spend too much money here and stuff. We touch on lunch, but I also missed the point about also eating out. We all want to eat out and we want to go to all of the restaurant and capture the best picture ever. But remember too that comes with a cost.
Yes.
So, that we also have to minimize, how often we go out, and then, ladies can go together, share the bill or share the bill with your partner, whatever the case may be. I know the ladies don't like here to share the bills with the partner, but anyway, let me leave that alone.
Yes, leave
But,
that one alone.
but I mean sharing the bills with your girlfriends or the guys going and share the bill. I don't know the man them do it. Maybe them just pay, one of them just pay, the drinks bill or whatever the case may be. But gentlemen, we've been speaking a lot about the men, the women. I really need to tap into the men. But gentlemen, you can have the guys over for games, for domino or a card game and get your drinks. So you don't have to buy the expensive drinks at the bar all the time. Get your beers and and a rum from the supermarket and have your friends over on the balcony and chat foolishness and drink. So you don't have to be going out to drink all the time because it's very expensive, you
Is it
know?
okay? Let's say me and a girlfriend want to go out and we decide that all right, we order one main course and share it. You know, just
I love that. I
really
love that. Yeah, but why not? But why not? After you work out and so you don't want no big belly around here and all of
no, me
them things.
feel good.
So
We love
so some
food, but I'm no. But I mean, apart from that, I'm just saying they might say, huh? So all the two of them might share food in terms of why she not buy fair food and she buy, you know, because maybe some restaurants turn up their nose to that.
no, well, no, I've never seen that, and I would doubt that persons would do that. I mean, you could go to the restaurant and you don't want a big meal. You could do two appetizer and an entree. I don't see any big issue with that. You're still dining.
Right, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I go out and I just uh order appetizer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that I can't afford a meal. That's what I feel for. So I
Mm-hmm.
may order appetizer and my partner would order an entree and I still pick at it. I mean, what's the big deal?
Okay, so don't feel no way.
No, 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 absolutely not.
Okay. So we talk about wearing the outfit again and be proud of wearing your own. We talk about packing the lunch. We talk about adding income. We talk about educating yourself. We talk about debt management.
No, we
And
never talk about no, we never talk about educating yourself. And when I speak about educating, I'm not speaking about degrees and masters. Yes, if you want to do those, that's fine. But when I'm saying tap into conversation such as this, what a good way to spend Saturday evening. Let us drink to that.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what I meant. It also means subscribing to persons who speak about these things. So we subscribe
budget
to
auntie.
Budget Auntie. Look for people like me in the community and follow them and get inspiration. Look for Business Weekly, those international publication. Read. You don't have
Hello,
to read it in a
Janella.
book. Yes, you don't have to read it in a book, but you can read. Take a little 20 minutes or 30 minutes per day and know what is happening. Just like how we know that you can be an international admin assistant. Those things are happening online. So don't just follow the Kardashians only and, just look out for those sort of a things so that you can learn and grow and understand what is happening in the finance world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean when I spoke about education. When you see people like Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett and all of them, they wake up and read. Why can't we do that? 20 minutes, 30 minutes per day and tap into what is happening, in the world other than what is happening down at Montego Bay. I mean, just saying.
Just saying.
That is important too. Yeah, that is important too, because we have to know what is happening here.
Yeah,
But we must educate ourselves. And if we want to have the money for the degree and the masters, go for it too. But we must know what is happening.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned something as well, which I really love. Well, it makes my teeth when, like you said, people. I guess it's affordability. Like some people go shop every day, go buy guys. For some people, it's affordability. For some, them just do it. Go shop, go buy like 2 pound of rice, two this and two that. When if you buy in bulk, you can actually save more. I saw you have a post on something like that. You want to just explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I was saying, yeah, it's always easier to buy some things in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know that the price smart thing, when you go up there, you spend a lot of money, but really and truly, I find the prices to be reasonable. And if you can't afford a dishwashing liquid up there for 1,200, then why not share with your girlfriend and both of you buy one and share? Both of you could go and pick up some essential things like I find the dishwashing liquid to be really good. The wash. Listen,
So
I
you can
couldn't afford
dilute
to
it.
buy. And you can then, yeah. But I couldn't afford to buy like soap, liquid soap in the supermarket. They are so expensive. But you go at Price Mart and you buy Member Select. You have Member Select. You might have Tide up there. You have which other one? You have Tide, I don't remember, Dawn, whatever.
The
But you have
brands.
Member Select, the brand. But you have Member Select, Price Mart brand are the same soap,
Same thing.
and the price is so much of a difference. So, why not buy something like that and share it with a friend, share it with family, cereal for the kids. I don't buy cereal, but I see the big giant cereal that persons could buy and share in the household. It would make a big, big difference. I go to Price Mart and I go to the supermarket and I see the prices. It's ridiculous in the supermarket. I don't know how people manage, we can go to the Coronation Market and go down there early and get away. I'm sure, vegetables are so expensive,
In the
in the supermarket. So I would say, buy in bulk. Some things, your oil, your dishwashing liquid, your soap, bleach, those things, you buy them, you go and you just monitor your basket. Don't bother with Miss Chin over there, so with our basket eyes. So your friend go and said this may I buy, and you pick up what you buy and you go about your business and you go home and split it. Right. And you can do the same thing for the membership. I don't remember what's the cost of the membership.
Yeah, I do
But you
that. I
split the
split my
membership
membership with
too.
somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pay one
So
person pay 1 year, the next person pay the next year. So
yeah.
we have
So
it like that.
all of these 2 pounds of oil, 2 pounds of rice and thing that we're buying, it adds up and sometimes work out to be much more expensive than buying in bulk. So I endorse the bulk buying.
Another thing, and it's on the same buying, we tend to buy
Yeah.
brands. You mentioned the soap, but in everything, in your corned beef, in your ketchup, in your mackerel, it's like we grow up on certain brands and we just think we have to buy that brand. But at the end of the day, all of them manufacture the same place,
Same
just
place,
different day.
right. Right. So member select, and you're fine.
All right. So guys, I'm gonna open it up shortly. If you wanna ask Budget Auntie anything, now is the time. We can just use. She's here. I hope you started following her now. You see her name, Budget Auntie. Please go follow her because she has a wealth of information on her page that you can benefit from. All right. So let's get the questions going. If you have any questions, there is a good time to throw them out. Any other tip on Budget Auntie?
No, I think I cover most of it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the only thing I was also saying again in terms of getting, while they're coming with the question, in terms of income generation, I know, no offense to the Chinese, the Chinese would come together, a few of them, and they open business. I think as Black people, we always believe that we have entrepreneurial idea and we're trying to put all of the money together to, I'm saying few persons can also come together, pool resources to do things. It's different times we're living in, and this pandemic is going to really bring some countries to their knees. And so we have to be ahead of the game and just look at things differently, just thinking outside of the box. They say the word is pivot, and just pivot. I saw a man recently. There's a guy that went viral on social media with an iron pot, the two parts
Yes,
iron.
yes, yes. Good idea.
That was brilliant. So
Yes, yes.
I applaud him for it because the man is saying you can do stew chicken or rice and chicken and on the same gas. I'm just saying, so we have to think out. That was a guy, a simple guy who makes pot, just thinking outside the pot.
Yeah, and then the thing about it is that you pot ready one time, your chicken and your rice,
Right.
good to go. As a matter of
Good
fact,
to
the
go.
chicken will give the rice some flavor. All right. So first question. All praises be. What is the best way to start investing?
Yeah, so I would say start with your emergency fund first, and that should be in a short-term account. When you have your 6 to 9 months emergency fund, and remember I said the emergency fund is pretty much 6 to 9 months of your monthly expense, then you could look into other medium-term funds, like, other longer-term investment, money market instruments that you could tap into. And then after that, you can start looking at stocks. For me, stocks are long-term investments, and it usually outperforms other instruments, but I would say concentrate on your 9 months, then move into some medium terms funds, and then you can start thinking about stocks and bonds. And of course, definitely, once you have your 9 months emergency fund ready, you should also be saving towards the home, which is a big investment. You know that here in Jamaica. Once you have your deposit and you're qualified, then you're good to go.
Something I was told that you shouldn't leave the money. You shouldn't really have a bank account, a savings account, because you're actually wasting your money right there. Your money you're not gaining anything from it. When do you decide that, okay, I can now step it up from the savings and start put my money elsewhere? And
I
is
would
it a
say
good idea?
when you have about 9 months, because remember, the emergency funds should be there for any unforeseen expenses. So, say, for instance, your fridge stopped working, you had a big car repair that you didn't have the budget. So you must have those things to help you as you go along, not to buy the carnival costume, but but you should have that. And then after that, you should start putting away funds. Of course, I really like the question that somebody asked about pension. So at least you know that is longer term fund, savings towards your retirement that you're making. And then you have your short term fund, which is more the emergency fund. And then you're looking at medium term and long term. That is when you're moving up the chain of earnings, you know?
Okay, so you have 9 months fund put away, and if you have any
And
additional,
yes, and don't think about the 9 months, you're not gonna be earning a whole per interest on that, and that's fine.
but
Right?
anything else beyond that, take it
You,
and put it
you
somewhere to
should be
earn interest.
maximizing, yes, you should be maximizing
Good.
your any return on that, right?
So you know what happened? A lot of us have bank account and we just love to the work of money in it, but it's not working for us. We're not making anything out of it.
Right. And then one tip I'm gonna say to, so if you have more than the 9 months fund, I would say try to have anything outside of the 9 months in US dollars. We can't go
Oh,
wrong with that.
okay.
Yes.
You hear
So
that, people?
whichever financial institution you have your money, you can always say, please convert this to US for me at points in time, every 2 months, every 3 months, and you convert. You can't really go wrong with that.
So you must have a US saving account.
Right.
Okay. Kathy is saying online shopping killing some of us. What advice can you give these online shoppers?
Well, nothing is wrong with online shopping. Nothing is wrong if you are in your budget. As I said, everything should be in your budget. So if you're buying clothes online and you're spending your allotment for the month, nothing is wrong with that. Just make sure that you're paying the bill on time, your credit card bill on time. So you pay your bill on time after you shop.
And that's another thing to don't get fooled by people saying, by the bank saying, okay, you just need to pay this minimum because the rest of money that you have that will earn interest, right? A lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yes, and I also want you to understand too that the credit card that you have, we have to do a different topic, different live on credit card, but the money that you have for your credit card is not your money. The limit on your credit card is not your money. It's not
Yes.
money it's also not money that you have. I want you to understand that. It is like a line of credit given to you, and you use it and pay it back within 30 days. So you have 30 days to pay back that money. So I don't want you to see that my salary is 100,000 and my credit card is 50. I have 150 each month. And so it go. It's not money that you have. It's a line of credit that you get and you have to pay 30 days. In another conversation, we can talk about statement date versus payment date, but that is
Yes,
going to take up too much time now.
yes,
So we can talk about that. But
yes,
really and
Auntie.
truly, it's not money that you have. So really, you ought to, if you swipe, you ought to have the money stored to repay it before 30 days, or you're going to pay interest. And don't get caught with the minimum payment trap, as I said before, because it is going to bite you hard. And credit card interest is between 45 and 48%, if not more. It's a lot of money, that.
Lots of money, a whole heap of money. So don't get caught up in it. Some of you just get credit card and you just go wild, not knowing all of them.
Yeah.
So here, General is saying she's into thrift shopping.
But that is excellent. Nothing is wrong with that. I think we should do it. Yeah, back in the day, many years ago, I used to be going, I was working at a company and going to a lot of functions. And my friend was working somewhere else and going to a lot of functions. And we were cycling the dresses, the big long dresses.
Really? So like you
Yeah.
wear one this month and your friend wear one the next month? Wear
It's
the
not
next
even, yeah. We're going to that function. It's two totally different company, and we just give her the dress. Yeah, we were the same size. And because these are not party clothes, these are expensive ball dresses, the
Yes.
big function dresses. And we used to do that. So, so it's up to you. It's really up to
It's
you.
true. Because when you buy them
Yeah.
expensive something, you can really, I mean, when you make a statement in it, it's not like you can't wear it again anytime soon.
Anytime soon, so my friend used to wear it.
Good
Yeah.
idea. Friend, anybody my
Mhm.
size? Let's start this. All
For the
say,
big ball dress, the big ball dress. We
yes,
can't bother to buy the ball dress and wear them one time. So we just wear it to our next function.
you're right, You're so right. All
Right.
I say, debt consideration is important in budgeting.
You mean debt concert? Yes, I'm saying yes, you should also have your debt in the budget. But all I'm saying, don't allow it. So debt in your portfolio is fine as long as it is not spiraled out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
And what persons should remember, especially young persons now, is that in Jamaica, before you never have this thing, the credit bureau. But now, when you go and you wrap up the bill and you think, say, oh, you can move on. People can know your credit history and that can affect you in certain things, right?
That is a very good point, Dara. Yes, we do have an active credit bureau, and anytime you're ready for that house or the car, they're gonna run a check on you. You can't escape it. So you also must be mindful of that. Even your cable bill, we should pay them on time.
Really?
Even your cable bill. Set up automatic payment. It's very, very important. So set up your automatic payment for your savings and set up your automatic reminders to pay your bills on time as well.
Another question from Janela. What are your views on cryptocurrency? Me not like it. Me not know.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you that. So the Bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies, I am in no ace to learn about them. Anything that I have to sit down and watch daily like that in terms of the movement, I could use my time to do something else. So I am not onto crypto or Bitcoin as yet, and I'm not in any use to get there either.
All right.
So I can't advise you on that.
Okay, this is from Chanel. What you recommend for someone who has migrated? Should they lease a car or buy it? This is somebody who has
Well,
migrated.
well, I'm not very familiar with the American market, I would say, but I think lease is better in that market because what I find is that the price of cars in America really, in terms of the value, really reduces much lower than quicker than ours. That is one thing I notice. But I don't think I have the authority to speak on the American market so much.
This is another good one. Auntie, speak on starting trust funds for our children from they are young. I wish I knew this.
Yes, so maybe, all right. So let me tell you something. When my children were small, I remember taking out NCB at some education fund, I remember. And it was very expensive at the time. It was in my budget, but it was a struggle for me to pay. I paid it, but it looked so attractive at the time. But one of the things I didn't do was to take the time value of money. So when it was offered to me, I don't remember what the name of the fund. It was very popular back in the day. But when they presented it to me, they said, well, in 15 years' time, you will be getting maybe 2 million and stuff. And it was so attractive, and I struggled and paid it. When my children were ready for university and I accessed the fund, I get about 100,000. Maybe my daughter was in medical school and our school fee, she was in a dental program and her school fee was like 2 million. And I got 100,000. And I was so upset with myself. I'm just telling the truth. And said, look how I struggled and all I could get. But you know what? Nobody, no friend, no family called me and said, listen, I am giving you 100,000 towards our school fee. It was still a start. So I would say, I'm sure I'm not familiar with the trust funds now at this point in time, because I have grown children, but I would say definitely it is a start. But one of the things you must do is speak to your agent about the time value of money, because 1 million now looks so attractive, but 15 years from now, 1 million has no value. So that is one thing you must pin down your agent about and really try to understand that aspect. That is one thing that I had failed to do. But as I said, I got 100,000 and nobody would have given me 100,000.
Right.
It was a start. Even some books it could buy, no, sir?
Yeah. I mean, I've had a similar experience when it came onto the trust fund from my son. Yeah, the money
Right.
that you thought you'd get, it was, but it's a start. It's a start, as you
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anyone? So, Auntie, while we wait on, I'm sorry, Auntie. I prefer Auntie. While we wait on them to send in some more questions, could you just do a recap of the tips that you've given? You know, just one, So for those joining
All right.
them,
So yes, to summarize. Yeah, come my phone soon die now. Yeah,
not
just to
yet.
summarize. Yeah, man. So just to summarize, we said we must have a budget. I said millions of people struggle daily with the topic of managing money. So don't feel bad if we're not managing. Don't feel bad if we don't have a budget. And we should not deny ourselves about from the simple pleasures of life. We also want to live and feel good about ourselves. So it's not about cutting out the hair and the nail. If nails are your thing, put that in your budget. So I'm saying if you think it, ink it. So coming out of this conversation, we should all have an Excel spreadsheet and look at it's now October, November, December, even for the 2 months, do your budget. And then come January, you're going to have a 12 months budget. And then I'm saying, have your emergency fund, have your, what is the other fund? So you should have your sinking fund, right? So have your sinking fund, have your emergency fund. Don't wait until September when you're about to pay your car insurance. You're trying to take the money out of that month. You should be saving 1/9 every single month, right? So look at it.
Just 1 second, guys. If you're just joining, The sinking fund is a fund that you can, for expenses such as your insurance or school fee or whatever big money you have
Christmas
to pay.
fund. Christmas fund, you know that they're coming, so you're preparing to pay them. So I'm saying, right, so right, then I'm saying look at your budget, look at your income, look at your expenditure, look at ways that you can increase your income, online business such as the administration, that assistant that we spoke about, and selling plants, selling cakes, whatever the case may be. And I'm saying then you should look at your expenses to see what you can cut. It doesn't mean that you have to cut out your nails, your pedicure, your manicure and pedicure, but look at things that you could unsubscribe from, like your telephone, like your Netflix. We say buy in bulk. We also say, take lunch to work, eat out less. Look at business that you could start with your friends. We said Dome Finance, the Dream Weekend, and the Carnival costume using same day loan. I also say stay away from same day loan. They're just too expensive. And I say manage your debt.
I want to ask you something that came to mind as you were recapping.
Mm-hmm.
Say at this time of the year, Christmas, because it's Christmas time now, we splurge. So
Mm-hmm.
your house might not want paint, but because of Christmas, you go paint it. You might not need a new chair, but because of the season, you go take out the chair and then come back for it January. Those are the things that we spend money on at this time of the year. Give us some advice as to how we can get through this season without really spending without doing all this unnecessary spending.
All right. So all right, we're a little bit late. So we're talking a lot these days about eco-friendly and sustainability. So the sofa that you have in your house can be re-wrapped. We don't have to throw it out and buy new ones. I know LPSR usually have one of the best sale ever. So go down there and get your fabric. You would have to start now because time is against you. Our artisans are ready. Everybody is busy. So look at those things. I
Or do it
mean, it's not
yourself.
gonna right or do it yourself. I don't think it's gonna. Paint are so expensive these days. So better you touch up, at this point in time, especially at this time in this pandemic. Let us not bother with no changing color on wall. Use back the same color so that you use less paint, and take down your window treatment and wash them and get some plants going and just keep it minimum and just keep it basic. Yes, we normally buy a little bit more food and that is okay. So we can splurge on the food and cut down on all. We're not gonna, and I'm sure we're gonna have a whole lot of visitors this year because of what is happening. So this is a year that we really should be cutting back, and we have to recognize that prices are going through the roof. As I said, inflation is 8.3%, and food of that 8%, 3.3% is really food. So, we have to be wise going into the Christmas season. I'm not sure if we're going to have no whole party, all the better. So you look fresh and nice in your house and just relax yourself this Christmas. We'll be back on the road, I'm sure, soon. And so hold on to your money.
What
All right.
about
We've been there, done that, with all of the ad and people trying to really lure us. And we're going to put in a shameless plug for the Observer. I know this week is also Design Week. So I know like Hardware and Lumber and those people, they might have to pay me for this ad. But I know they had sale on those things. So you have to tap into those now leading
sales?
down to Christmas. And just and fresh up the house, but we don't have to go hard, and because Christmas is always 2 days. Believe me, I don't change window treatment. I don't change no. I don't like clutter. So I have one linen that I use, one spread that I use, and I use when it done. But so if it finish in time for Christmas, I change it. If not, it is there. It's beige, and I keep using it over and over. We don't have to have 3, 4, 5 different color. And just use some basic color and chill. Trust me. And your place can still look nice.
Let's talk about the oxtail and the ham because $20 million a pound.
Well, we have to have some ham on the table, with the cherry them, because we
Hiya.
know. Dara, Dara, we have to have we ham and we sorrel and we gungo peas and little oxtail can go on for the Christmas because we are also remember we were building our sinking fund and we have a little
We
extra
never start,
and
so
we
we
can
don't have
do
the sinking fund for the oxtail right now.
well, maybe we can do some roast chicken, some nice roast chicken. Usually, Observer 2 usually have a nice Christmas booklet that come out, I mean, close to Christmas. Practice something different and, we can leave oxtail or if you used to use 5 pound of oxtail, you do 2 pounds.
Lord of mercy. Yeah. One more thing, and this is something I am so guilty of.
Mm-hmm,
Outside now keep. Not now going out
mm-hmm.
the road. But I cannot help myself. Me see clothes, I'ma like it, I'ma buy it. And because it's in season, I'ma buy it. And you know what happens? It's in the closet, hang up. But I'm just guilty of just buying clothes. Help, auntie.
I'm not sure how I can help you with that, because that don't sound like it's a budget issue. It's a discipline issue. So
Okay.
that is what you would have to fix. But I would hope that this conversation will help you to understand that you should have a budget for clothes. And so if you're buying within that budget, then fine. But personally for me, I'm saying we could ease off of the clothes buying because outside now keep. So if you buy like a swimsuit to enjoy our resorts and thing here locally, then that's a different thing. But we can ease up a little on that, I am sure.
Why?
That's all.
Your general. Yes, general. Listen, I buy them. I buy them with the hope that outside I go open back. And when outside I open back, I have something can do road. But it not happened like
Yes.
2 years now.
But it's so well, I'm sure you have enough now.
No, but then them one they get steal, as in out of fashion, not in season.
No, well, but that is the issue. We should really buy
Why?
things. We should not buy things that are in season. Yeah, so when I buy, I really try to buy stuff that really stand the test of time. Yeah.
Tell us some more about that because a lot of us need that advice.
No, because I buy basic stuff. I really don't buy things that I don't buy trend. But maybe it's because of my age. But I was always like that. I don't buy trend. So I buy things that can really move. Like Wednesday, I put on a dress that I had from 2019. It was the first I was wearing it and it went, everybody was all over it. But it's because it wasn't trend. So you have to buy, you can't buy every fashion. You have to kind of analyze some of them and know that they're not going to last. And you don't take on to, you can still look there, fix up your face and do your makeup banging and you're still looking fine.
True. All right. Timeless pieces, Auntie. All right. So I don't see any more
Timeless
questions
pieces,
coming
right,
in. I don't see any more
right.
questions coming in. But Dara, this is a really awesome program. Thank you, Janella. I mean, I really hope that somebody learned something tonight. I have certainly learned.
Janella, thank you for this. Thank you for pushing me, Janella. I'm glad to have you on the live.
Yes. Tiki. Written a tiki for you. Tiki for you. But just to say, guys, follow Budget Auntie because if you go on our page, you see so many good advice that can just help you in your day-to-day living. One of the takeaway for me tonight, I'm going to start my budget. I'm going to start writing down my monthly expenditure and the income thing and see how best I can manage it because I really haven't been managing the whole income expenditure thing. Better spend.
Right.
Let me see. Credit card program next. We're going to talk to Budget Auntie.
Yes.
Remember, she's a busy woman, If you look at her page, she's a busy woman. But I'm definitely going to try to get her back on to talk about some of the other issues because credit card is one of those.
Right.
Oh, Janella saying you need to come back. Definitely. We can talk about it and,
Right.
maybe starting next year. you can guide us how we can start the year and get our
Yeah, so
savings.
maybe we could have a kickoff. Yeah, so maybe we can have a kickoff next year as to how we could really start and just setting goals for
Yeah,
ourselves, you know?
man. Yeah, man. Let me ask you something. You mentioned the sinking fund, and a lot of us don't do it. But like Christmas coming now, so you're saying for Christmas next year, start January, just start put with the money, put with a little
That's
something.
right. Imagine if you put in 5,000, 5 times 12, that's 60, you know?
True, true, true,
Right. Remember that. Remember that.
true.
And also, I'm not going to see you guys again, I'm sure, for this year, but remember too that we have NHT refund coming up in January. You're going to make,
Yes, yes.
right? So January 1st, you can go online and apply for your NHT refund, and you can put that in the budget. Maybe you can start a little sinking fund with that. You can put away the money, remember? Maybe it can go towards your insurance or something like that.
You're
So,
right. You know, I don't
right?
collect mine. It's like I'm waiting for that rainy day when I really need it, then I go collect it. You think that's a bad thing?
No, that's a bad thing because yes, because you could get more interest than the government is giving you on it. Straight up.
Thank you for that one. Boy, I learned so much tonight. Nah lie. I've learned so much tonight. Guys, go follow
Right.
Budget Angie. Go on our page, go press follow, and
And it's AUNTIE,
yes.
AUNTI, right?
Oh, sorry, Budget Auntie. Somebody said
Yeah.
Auntie, but it's Budget Auntie. Yeah, go follow her. I thank you so much. It was last minute, but I'm so happy that you came
The,
on. So happy.
I'm really happy. I'm happy to be here. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, have a good
All
wait.
right.
Hold on. Cheers. I think your
Mhm.
glass empty, but cheers.
Yeah, definitely.
Have a good night here.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
So remember to save.
Yeah, man. Guys,
All right.
remember to save. Remember to save. This is the thing for
No,
next
I'm
year.
saying to save the life.
Yeah,
Remember to
man.
save the life.
Okay, so I normally save the live and it's up on IG for like tonight, and then I put it over to YouTube. But what I will do, I will have snippets of it. I will tag
And
you
you will
in.
send me the
Yes,
snippets.
I will send you the snippets. So I will have
All
snippets
right.
of the live, and then I will send those to you. And you know, for persons who missed it, you can always go over to YouTube and you can catch the full episode on YouTube, Live with Dara.
Thank you.
Angie, thank you
All right.
so much. Sorry, Auntie,
Cool.
thank you so much,
Yes.
darling. Have
All
a
right.
good night.
Cool. Bye-bye.
All
Have a
right.
good night. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Listen, people, I hope you learn something tonight, You know, we spend so much time and we waste money all the time. Something we learn from this. And seriously, hi Donna, we definitely need a part 2. Because a lot of us, we don't know about savings. We don't know about some of the things that we can do to make money. Listen, if there's somebody on here who knows how I can get on to do this personal assistant thing online, let me know. Link me up because I want to do it. The program I wanted to do and it fell through, but it's something I will continue to look at until I get it. It's earning online because we spend so much time online all day, every day. Either checking IG or checking Facebook or on WhatsApp or whatever. We can use those to make some money, So we need to find out how. Yeah, we need to find out how and tap into that so we can have some passive incomes, like some extra stream, because one income and an income. You're not make no money with that. By the time you pay and you pay out JPS and water and rent or mortgage, your money done. So let's make some money this year going into next year. Thank you so much for coming live with me tonight. I really appreciate everybody who stayed on. I hope you learned something, and see you next week when we do another live. It may be a Ray Ray and a Tay Tay, or we may learn something. Each week we try to make it interesting for you. Have a wonderful night, guys. Take care of yourself, all right?